time for another boring episode. I just finished another travel assignment in Portland, Oregon. I had a contract with Providence Medical Center, which is a non-for-profit, full-service, 438-bed facility. The reason we chose to come here because we have family. My sister-in-law and her husband, they're staying here, so my wife wanted to hang out with her sister, and we just wanted to make some memories and spend some time together. So that's what we picked to come to Portland. Now, this particular facility is part of Providence Health and Services, and there is 8 of them in Oregon. There is 4 in the area that are close, within about 30 minutes from each other. Well, I got to travel to 3 of them, and then there's 3 more. One is about 45 minutes or so, which is Newburgh, and then Hood River is about an hour and a half, and Seaside is probably 2 hours. It's about 85 miles. Also, there is Medford, but that's 4 hours away, so they said you will never go there. So I guess that's a good thing. I wouldn't want to drive for a shift 4 hours. Just because I was very picky where I want to be and how close I want to be to where I'm staying and where I'm working, I ended up taking a med-surg assignment. And in Portland, or in Oregon in general, they have about 5 patients per nurse in med-surg. I worked for Advantage RN, but most of these contracts that they had, most of them were through cross-country staffing. It seems like Providence is dealing with cross-country staffing, so I had to deal with them as well as other travelers. I had to deal with cross-country staffing for all of our needs. Well, what kind of patients did I get? On the med-surg, mostly I was getting surgical patients with various surgeries, but also there is a huge homeless population on the West Coast in general. So about 25% I would say I would get homeless population, which is they have a lot of mental health issues, they have multi-substance abuse, so they could be kind of violent sometimes, and they're known to disturb your day. Let's just talk about some good things about this assignment and some things that I didn't like all that much. One of the good things, as a med-surg nurse, you get a maximum of 5 patients per nurse. Most of the nights that I was working, I had 4 patients. So for a med-surg nurse, this is a really easy assignment. They also use Epic, and I wasn't familiar with Epic. The first day, we had 8 hours of training, and then another day we had 4 more hours of training. So you get 12 hours of training on Epic, which I thought it was a lot, but that was good. They also use Pyxis, so if you work on the regular floor, if you come back to the same floor that you are assigned to, then you have no problem. The next day you could just sign in, and you have full access to Pyxis if you're familiar with Pyxis. If I went traveling to a different hospital, they had to put me as a temporary user, and then they just give you a slip of paper with a bunch of letters, so you can't really memorize them, so you have to carry that with you. Every time you have to log in and get meds out, that's what you have to use, which is a bit annoying, but it's not unbearable. Overtime was also available. I didn't think they had any kind of overtime on West Coast. Well, this wasn't the case. Cross country would send you text messages with immediate needs, that they need day shift, night shift, and which hospital. And usually they will include a $100 bonus or $125 on the weekend. There was a one time that I've seen that it was a $250 bonus. I didn't use any of that, but that was also available. Now, the things that I didn't like so much, one of the decision-making factors was when I was signing the contract, they did say that we might travel to a different hospital, and I almost walked away from this because I didn't exactly want to travel to a bunch of different hospitals in the area, which they basically said that statistically you only travel maybe 2 or 3 times in the entire 13-week period. Well, that was a lie. Anyway, so I got to float 11 days out of 39. I got to float to a different hospital. Remember how I said in the beginning there is 4 hospitals that are close together, which is St. Vincent, Milwaukee, Portland Medical Center, and Willamette Falls. They all are fairly close. So basically, I just traveled to 3 of those. I went to St. Vincent, which was probably by far the nicest of all of them. I took a few shots of the hospital inside, so I'll show you that. Don't have any of the other shots of the other hospitals. But if I would sign this again, I would definitely negotiate a better rate for floating to a different hospital, because it really, in my contract, it really wasn't worth doing it, but it still worked out. And you probably should negotiate some kind of traveling for you driving back and forth to different hospitals, because 2 of the days I had to float there at 11, had to leave one hospital, drive to another hospital. Kind of interesting. Also, 2 days out of my whole assignment I ended up being a sitter, so that's all I did. I was just sitting with one time with the demented guy, and the last day I always get to float to ER, so it happened this assignment too. But I was just a sitter. Another annoying thing was that they canceled us a lot. Basically, on 8 days out of my assignment, I was canceled. A couple of weeks, I was canceled at 11, and then the following day, they canceled me for the whole shift. According to my contract, they can only cancel me 12 hours in 2 weeks, so if that went over those 12 hours, I basically got paid. But still, that's something to consider, because it was happening a lot to other travelers as well. Now, the most annoying part about this, that usually if they canceled you at 11, there was somebody scheduled to come in at 11. For instance, if some of the regular staff had some kind of class, they would go to class, they would get out of class, and they would come to work at 11, and you got canceled. So to me, it wasn't like a low census or any kind of deal like that. This was planned, and that's kind of aggravating. But anyway, just to give you a background, after talking to a few people, why they canceled travelers first, because a brand new nurse out of school, the starting pay is $37 an hour, and then there is a $5.80 night shift differential. So it comes very close to what travelers pay is, and of course the travelers get canceled first in this particular hospital system. Overall, the hospitals are very nice, very clean, and very safe. I didn't have any of those issues I had in Florida, where there was so many patients that people were overwhelmed with. Everybody had about 4 patients on the med surg. Even when I traveled to ER, everything was under control. You didn't see much of this chaos going on, so that was good. Also, Portland is kind of a fun city. There's plenty to do, a lot of restaurants and places to go out, so we got to go out with some travelers the one day, so that was fun. Also, in Oregon in general, there is a lot of hikes that you can go to. There is Oregon coast, where you can go to the ocean. The ocean is very cold. You could check out our other video about that. But there's plenty to do. We just didn't get to do as much as we thought we were gonna do, but we'll be back. We have family here. So anyway, so this was my experience in Portland, Providence, and it was pretty good. It worked out for what we wanted to do here. So I would even come back and do the same thing. I thought it was a very easy assignment for a med surg nurse. But yeah, we're already in Idaho, and we're heading back to Ohio at the moment. So we're going to Glacier National Park. We have plenty of other places we want to visit, so we would like to share them with you and maybe share some tips. So if you haven't had a chance, subscribe to our channel. We have videos coming out every Sunday.